Through Wednesday, April 29, 2025, papal flags in all parishes are to be flown at half-mast. He also disclosed that special prayers and petitions for the repose of his soul are to be included in all masses. Martin said to honor the late pontiff, the Archdiocese would hold a holy mass for the repose of his soul on April 23, 2025 at noon at the Holy Cross Cathedral, Lagos Island. The Archbishop called on parishioners to participate in the Mass in large numbers, describing it as an act of love and devotion to the late Pope who served as the Vicar of Christ on earth. He also encouraged the faithful to pray for the Church during this transitional period.
And away from that report, the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, has ordered the immediate withdrawal of police mobile force personnel. The IGP said the unit must be repositioned to focus on its core mandate of responding swiftly to riots, emergencies, and violent threats. He decried the assignment of police mobile force operatives to escort and guard duties for VIPs and private individuals, calling it a distortion that weakens operational effectiveness. Egbetokun also unveiled a series of reforms, including quarterly ethics and professionalism training and the mandatory standby of fully equipped combat-ready units in the cordon. The IGP noted that the reforms are part of a broader effort to restore discipline, uphold human rights, and raise operational standards in line with global best practices.
Elsewhere, Governor Nuhu Ribadu of Niger State has imposed a 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew on Minna, the state's capital, in response to emergencies are exempted from the curfew, stating the new measures was aimed at curbing the growing security challenges in the state's capital. The governor also directed district, village, and ward heads to commence proper documentation of visitors to their domains. Governor Bago warned that any house found to be harboring suspected criminals or drug cartels would be demolished.
In a recent development, Governor Monday Okpebolo of Edo State has convened a high-level security meeting in a significant move to address insecurity in the state. The development comes amid rising insecurity in the state, particularly in Edo North local government area. VOP TV correspondent Godwin Kogos has more details.
For a peaceful discussion regarding security. All our leaders were present, and we had a very useful discussion. And I believe we watch it from here. So things will be perfect in our land.
Do not. We are very grateful to His Excellency, the Governor of Edo State, Distinguished Senator Monday Okpebolo, who has come to discuss with the FMI community about what he has been doing and what he will continue to do to ensure security of life and property in Edo State and for today in Edo North. He gave our people the opportunity to speak, as you must have seen, for 3 hours to hear everybody out, and he has given the assurance that he will continue. Because we will say he will start because he has already started. The people also thank him and appreciate his initiative. He has provided vehicles to the police, he's bought motorbikes for the people, and so on and so forth. And working together, he recognized that the local people have their own role to play. So we have also discussed how the communities will work with the security agencies, and any information they have, they can always forward it to the governor through various channels. So I think on the whole, it's like meet your people and hear them out. To my recollection, this is the very first time, even when I was governor, I don't think I came specifically for security, as we have done today. So the people have expressed their confidence in the governor. They have reaffirmed their loyalty, and they have affirmed their commitment to work together with the security agencies so that my land would be safe. I think it was a very good meeting.
Of the presence of our governor and all our traditional rulers who have come for us to deliberate on the security of our people and our land. And people have spoken their mind, the way forward, as our senator had just told us. They have spoken their mind, and we are going to work with it. God is with us, and one with God is majority. We are going to win. We are going to conquer for God and for his people. Our land will know peace and rest now, from now on and forever. Thank you.
Little packages. This day we are experiencing a landmark event. Response to the security issues that have been agitating our minds. We have been very worried. The governor himself did not delegate anybody, came here just to show you who the governor is. Then, of course, our representative at the Senate is here. He did everything to convene this meeting to ensure that our people are assured that there's government. And our people are resolved that given this background, an honorable minister is here all the way from Abuja, given this consolidation, given this effort, by the grace of God, with rational rulers, we are resolved to also work with them to ensure that our people are safe. And security, by the grace of God, will return to our people. Once more, thank you, Your Excellency.
All right, that was an interesting report, most especially taking a look at the troubling Edo North. I hope the security matter is taken seriously, and of course, the report from Kogos. All right, to other news right now, we have the rising state of insecurity is raising serious concerns across the country as President Bola Tinubu is set to meet with service chiefs and the National Security Advisor following his return from an 18-day working visit abroad. The meeting comes in response to renewed killings and displacement in Plateau, Benue, and other parts of Nigeria. UOP TV's Matthew Ogunsuela reports.
Bola Tinubu is set to meet with the service chiefs and the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, following his return to Abuja after an 18-day working visit and retreat in Paris and London. The high-level security meeting comes amid growing concerns over the rising wave of killings in Plateau, Benue, and other parts of the country. Since April 2nd, over 120 residents have been killed by armed attackers, with more than 3,000 people displaced and several homes razed, despite the presence of security forces. In Benue State alone, at least 56 persons lost their lives in Logo and Gbagi communities during separate attacks reportedly carried out by armed herders. Meanwhile, the Special Advisor to the President on Policy Communication, Daniel Bwala, maintains that the existing security structure comprising the police, Department of State Services, military units, and local vigilantes can deliver results if state governors utilize their security votes transparently. As the situation intensifies, Voice of the People TV is on the street to capture the reactions of Nigerians on the growing insecurity across the country.
I really feel that can be done is this. Since our leaders have failed to protect us, which is one of their primary role as a government, securing your people and taking care of them. Since our government has failed us, I believe we, on our own, we should do a collective teamwork by securing our territory, maybe by vigilante, being on the watch guard. Always, when you see maybe a strange face around you, you need to question he or she. Then also, this era we are now, everybody needs to be at alert. Mainly, if everybody can come together to secure the territory, like, okay, what can be done to secure the environment? Both the small, the young, the old, everybody come together as one. And maybe you can even do it shifting. Why a sect watch over in the night, another sect can watch over the following day. I believe that should be a way forward. Coming out fully to secure its people. By what? by reassuring them, giving them hope. You know, the people were able to at least earn their voice. I believe this era we are now, everybody needs to earn his voice. Like when you see something wrong happening around you, don't wait till it happens to you or your friend or your relative. Alarm it out. Let everyone around you know what is going on. It's not as if when you see something but it's just a small thing. That small thing can also bring out a bigger result and cause more havoc. Even coming back at you that decided to be quiet. If you see any small incident that you know that this thing is a bad thing to the society or is a risk, you should alarm it out and try to question why such a thing is happening around you.
I think what should be done is there is integrity among our military and paramilitary. I mean from the highest level to the lowest. I think our security personnel, the strongest security personnel in Nigeria are military. That is, soldier, navy, and air force. I know they are trying their best, but I believe government should try more in empowering them. All these people we are talking about, they have gone far in terms of that is possession of ammunition. All this strong. It's like they have stronger ammunition than all these our ministries and that. So government should try more. I know they are trying their best, but maybe to try is not enough. They should try more in empowering our military and paramilitary.
Currently, the Nigerian insecurity is not manpower, it's technology. All this money we are hearing from the House and the Senate that they have been pumping on security, they should not buy any ammunition again. They should go and buy drone. Give each state 5-5. Let them be monitoring their state, and we'll see what will happen next. That's just my own.
The major thing I think we can do as citizens on our own part is to try as much as possible to be aware of our environment, to be conscious of our environment, take note of the things that are going on around us. When we see things that are unusual, we can easily alert the security agencies. Try as much as possible to have the contact of those who we know can come into our rescue and alert them once we see things that are unusual.
As we've heard from citizens, the call for swift and lasting solutions to insecurity has never been louder. However, Voice of the People TV will continue to monitor these developments closely, providing you with further updates as the nation awaits concrete solution and action. Matthew Ogunsoya, reporting for Voice of the People TV.
This report says that the Lieutenant Colonel Onyinyechi Anele has officially assumed office as the acting director of Army Public Relations, becoming the first female officer to hold the position in the history of the Nigerian Army. She takes over from Major General Onyema Nwachukwu, who handed over the reins during a brief ceremony at the Army headquarters in Abuja. In her inauguration remarks, Lieutenant Colonel Anele expressed gratitude to the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja, for entrusting her with what she described as a strategic and historic responsibility. Lieutenant Colonel Anele also emphasized the commitment to strengthening the Army's relationship with the media, urging continued collaboration anchored on truth, fairness, and national interest. She pledged to lead the Directorate with transparency, professionalism, and a focus on narratives that reflect the Army's core values of honor, service, and sacrifice.
Still in the news, the federal government has launched an investigation into the alleged extortion of 5.2 million naira by personnel of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps from a group of youth in Ekiti State. The Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, directed the probe according to a statement released by his media assistant, Alao Babantide. The officers were accused in a viral social media post of extorting the money from young men traveling from Ado-Ekiti to Akure, Ondo State. Tunji-Ojo assured the public that any officer found guilty will be dealt with in accordance with the law.
Elsewhere, a fire outbreak has destroyed sensitive documents at the Ilesha High Court 2 building in Osun State. The building was said to have been set ablaze by suspected arsonists. Besides the courtroom, the structure serves as office for some judges and judicial workers. Reacting to the incident, Governor Ademola Adeleke of Osun State condemned the hassle, saying it is an unjustifiable attack on the state judiciary. A statement by Olawale Rashid, Chief Press Secretary to the Osun State Governor, said Governor Adeleke had ordered security agencies to investigate the incident. Governor Adeleke also directed security agencies to beef up surveillance activities at the court premises across the state.
Still in the news, where the federal government has announced a full closure of the Ijora Bridge in Lagos for critical repair works. During an inspection of the bridge, Federal Controller of Works Olukorede Kesha said the route will be closed to traffic on April 27. Kesha said the bridge, which connects Ijora Causeway to Apapa, needs comprehensive repairs with defective bearings beneath the deck due for replacement. She added that the Ijora Bridge is a major route into Apapa where Nigeria's busiest seaports are housed. Kesha noted that the closure would cause some disruptions, but said it has become imperative for the safety of commuters, ensuring that the ministry has carefully worked on diversion routes and traffic management.
And this report says that the federal government has clarified that the newly inaugurated Presidential Committee on Population and Housing Census is a temporary technical body created to identify funding sources and develop strategies to support Nigeria's long-awaited national census. The Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Abubakar Bagudu, made the clarification in Abuja. Bagudu, which chaired the committee, explained at the inaugural meeting that its primary task is to provide expert advice on financing, institutional coordination, and timeline development for the upcoming enumeration. The minister also said that the committee is separate from the National Population Commission, the statutory body responsible for planning and executing population and housing censuses in Nigeria. According to him, the committee was established as an advisory group to provide targeted guidance in areas relating to census preparation and funding.
You're still watching VOP TV News Hour on Voice of the People TV. More stories after this break.
Extraordinary. Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing VOP TV, now streaming on SLTV channel 202. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis, giving you all sides to the story. We bring in-depth discussions on the issues that matter, from politics to sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. VOP TV on SLTV channel 202. Join us as we redefine what television means to you. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
Welcome back. Fresh protests have rocked parts of River State. In Port Harcourt, the River State capital, some residents of Old Port Harcourt Township in Port Harcourt City local government area of the state continue to take to the street to express their displeasure over the state of emergency in the state. The residents also said the subsequent suspension of the state governor, his deputy, and members of the state assembly is hurting the state the more. Most of the participants at the latest round of peaceful demonstration said the reinstatement of Governor Similai Fubra is the wish of most Rivers residents. The protesters were seen holding placards with different inscriptions calling for the end of emergency rule in Rivers State.
In politics, the crisis rocking the Bayelsa State chapter of the People's Democratic Party has led to the sacking of the Solomon Agwanana-led State Working Committee by the South-South Zonal Working Committee of the party. The South-South Zonal Working Committee immediately appointed the Zonal Secretary George Tuna as a caretaker committee chairman to oversee the affairs of the party in Bayelsa. The decision was taken by the zonal leadership after its meeting held in PDP Zonal Secretariat in Port Harcourt, Rivers State. The Zonal Publicity Secretary, Etim Isong, who disclosed this in a statement shortly after the meeting, said that the Solomon Agwanana SWC was dissolved for gross misconduct and inability to contain the internal crisis rocking the party in Bayelsa. The SWC also replaced Tony Aziegbemi with Nosa Ogeba. Isong said that the appointments of the caretaker committee for Bayelsa and Edo states were in the best interest of the party.
Moving on, the Internet Exchange Point of Nigeria has announced that it crossed 1 terabyte per second in peak domestic internet traffic for the first time, a landmark achievement that cements the country's growing digital prowess. Announcing this in Lagos, the CEO of IXPN, Mohammed Rodman, said the milestone represents Nigeria's digital maturity and its united strides towards becoming a tech-driven nation. Rodman disclosed by keeping local internet traffic within Nigeria, the country has reduced costs, improved speeds, and ensured its digital economy thrives with homegrown infrastructure. The IXPN boss added that the accomplishment goes beyond technical advancement as it has significant economic implications.
In another development, the Lagos State Number Plate Production Authority has finalized plans to introduce specially designed number plates to identify and recognize people living with disabilities in the state. The State Commissioner for Transportation, Oluwaseun Oshiemi, said these are the 2025 ministerial press briefing in commemoration of the second year of the second term of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu in office. The Commissioner also emphasized that the initiative aligns with the Themes Plus agenda of the Sanwo-Olu administration, particularly its focus on inclusion. Coming up next, foreign business and sports stories after the break. Stay with us.
Good morning! It's the start of a beautiful day. Or start your day right with a healthy dose of news, fun, and inspiration. Join us on VOP this morning for the latest news, trending topics, and uplifting stories to set your day on the right vibe. From news and current events to lifestyle and entertainment, you are covered.
VOP This Morning, 8 a.m. Monday through Friday.
Welcome back. On the foreign scene, Pope Francis' funeral will take place at the Vatican on Saturday morning. Prince William will attend the Pope's funeral on behalf of King Charles. Donald Trump, Emmanuel Macron, Volodymyr Zelensky, and other world leaders would also be at the funeral. Earlier, the Vatican shared images of the late pontiff in an open coffin alongside further details of the funeral arrangements.
Away from that report, Harvard University has filed a lawsuit against the Trump administration claiming that its freezing of federal grants worth billions of dollars is unlawful. Its president, Alan M. Garber, announced the action in a letter to the university community, which said the $2 billion fund freezing would hamper critical disease research. However, the world's richest university last week rejected a list of demands that the Trump administration said was designed to curb diversity initiatives and fight anti-Semitism at the school. Funding cuts have also been implemented at other elite universities, and the new government anti-Semitism task force has identified at least 60 universities for review. President Donald Trump has accused universities of failing to protect Jewish students during last year's campus protests against the war in Gaza and U.S. support for Israel.
In another development, the U.S. Commerce Department has announced plans to impose tariffs of up to 3,521% on imports of solar panels from 4 Southeast Asian countries. It comes after an investigation that began a year ago when several major solar equipment producers asked the administration of the then President Joe Biden to protect their U.S. operations. The proposed levies targeting companies in Cambodia, Thailand, Malaysia, and Vietnam are in response to the allegations of subsidies from China and the dumping of unfairly cheap products in the U.S. market. A separate U.S. government agency, the International Trade Commission, is due to reach a final decision on the new tariffs in June. The planned tariffs were announced just days after Chinese President Xi Jinping completed a tour of Vietnam, Malaysia, and Cambodia.
Moving on, Vladimir Putin signaled he was open to talks with Ukrainian leader Volodymyr Zelensky for the first time since the early stages of the war, but Russia's strikes continued hours after his comments. Speaking to Russian State TV, Putin said Russia had always looked positively on any peace initiatives. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said Putin's comments indicated a willingness to engage in direct talks with Ukraine about not striking civilian targets. However, Russian attacks on Ukrainian cities continued with a wave of strikes across the country. A strike on an apartment block in Zaporizhzhia killed 1 woman and injured 20 others, including 4 children.
Elsewhere, 20 tourists have been killed after gunmen opened fire on a group of domestic tourists visiting a popular beauty spot in India-administered Kashmir. The attack took place in Pahalgam, a picturesque town in the Himalayas, often described as the Switzerland of India. The region's Chief Minister Omar Abdullah said the attack was much larger than anything that have been seen directed at civilians in recent years. Meanwhile, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi has vowed that the perpetrators would be brought to justice.
In business, the International Monetary Fund says Nigeria's economy will grow at a much slower pace of 3% in 2025. The projection is a downgrade from the IMF's estimate of 3.2% announced in October 2024, according to the fund's World Economic Outlook report presented at the ongoing spring meetings on Washington, D.C. The Bretton Woods Organization also expects Nigeria's economic growth to further slow down at 2.7% in 2026. Analysis of the latest forecast for Nigeria indicates that the West African nation's gross domestic product will grow faster than that of South Africa, estimated at 1% this year and 1.3% in 2026.
In a related development, the U.S. growth forecast for this year has been given the biggest downgrade among advanced economies by the International Monetary Fund as a result of uncertainty caused by trade tariffs. Growth is now expected to be 1.8% this year, down from the IMF's estimate of 2.7% for the U.S. in January. The fund predicts that sharp increase in tariffs and uncertainty will lead to a significant slowdown in global growth. The forecast for the UK has also been cut, with the economy now expected to grow by 1.1% this year. But the IMF has predicted UK economic growth will be stronger than Germany, France, and Italy. Inflation in the UK, however, will be the highest in the world's advanced economies at 3.1% this year, largely due to higher bills, including for energy and water. The predictions come as top economic policymakers gather in Washington for the spring meetings of the IMF and World Bank.
Now in sports, where Nigerians Flying Eagles defeated the Egyptian counterpart, the Young Pharaohs 2-1 in the pre-African Under-20 Cup of Nations friendly at the Cairo International Stadium. Karabon Arehi scored Nigerians first in the 10th minute of the encounter after a good pass from Bidemi Amole. The Young Pharaohs pulled one back in the 65th minute through Ahmed Kabaka, but a dominant Nigerian side shot into the lead again with 7 minutes left on the clock after Precious Benjamin made no mistake from the spot, following the foul on Divine Olise in the host 18-yard box.
Still talking sports, former Arsenal midfielder Jack Wilshere has been named Norwich City caretaker manager. Wilshere will take charge of the Championships club following the sacking of Giants of Torup. Wilshere, who was part of the coaching crew under Torup, will be assisted by Tony Roberts and Nick Stanley. Norwich City have 2 games left in their championship campaign.
Over to the world of entertainment, where the Actors Guild of Nigeria has called for national prayers following the death of 2 actors on the movie set in Owerri, the Imo State capital. Recalling that the popular filmmaker Stanley on Top had shared a video capturing 4 actors being rushed to the Federal University Teaching Hospital Owerri, with 2 confirmed dead on arrival. The tragic incident reportedly occurred after consuming the drink given to them by the movie producer. However, reacting to the incident, AGN President Emeka Rollins, in a post shared on its Instagram page, called for national prayers with one Pastor Jerry Eze.
And elsewhere in entertainment, a play by a Ukrainian writer exploring the psychological impact of war is to be given its world premiere at the New York International Shakespeare Festival as it celebrates its 10th anniversary. Organizers said codename Othello by Olga Anenko was one of the most highly anticipated events of the year's festival. Anenko said the work, inspired by Shakespeare's Othello, used themes of identity and trauma to talk about war and some of its hidden manifestations. A festival spokesperson said the play was discovered in its earliest stages by the festival's international advisor, Professor Nicoleta Simpo, who encouraged Anenko to finish the script.
And that's it on the news. Before we go, a quick look at the headlines. Catholic Archdiocese of Lagos declares a 9-day mourning for Pope Francis' death.
IGP orders withdrawal of mobile police officers from VIPs nationwide.
Governor Bago imposes curfew in Mina.
First female army spokesperson Onyinyechi Anele assumes office.
Federal government to close Ijora Bridge April for repairs.
More protests rock River State.
On the foreign scene, Prince William Trump, Macron to attend the Pope's funeral.
And in business, IMF projects Nigeria's economic growth rate to drop to 3%.
And in sports, Flying Eagles defeat Egypt 2-1 in Cairo.
And in the world of entertainment, AGN calls for prayer as 2 actors die of poisoning.
Do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel on YouTube. We are Voice of the People TV, and on other social media platforms, we are VOP TV Live. I am Jerry Apayoi.
And I am Adefunke Jayesimi.
Thanks for watching.